Hello, everybody. It's another beautiful day in the crypto industry on the Saturday. So we had a lot of things to come over to talk about. Let's just get into it, shall we? So first of all, market's up again. I think we can all get used to this. Everything's looking great. And I'd like to just talk about this real quick, just to kind of go over, like, for people who watch this video later today or in like a week or a month, just to see how crazy the prices were. And, maybe in a year, people are like, wow, can you believe we got Bitcoin under $10 million? I'm just kidding. But, Bitcoin's day at 76,000 and over 7 days up 10%. In 30 days, that's up 25%. Again, remember, we just had Trump win the president's election. So we'll see what happens in 2025. But market has responded quite favorably, and I can't go against that. Ethereum's even up 22%, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to bore you with this. You already know this stuff. What I want to talk to you today about is my Bitcoin mistake. And before I get into that, in the title, I also talked about meme coins. Let's talk about the crazy stuff before we get to the real stuff, shall we? So yeah, this was on 5th of November. What's the date today? Today's the 9th of November. And the 5th of November, I was just kind of congratulating you for sticking around the bear market, and buying when you're supposed to buy when prices were low, and doing the hard things that your friends and your family and the people around you usually don't do, which is essentially invest when people tell you not to invest because the price is going low, because your normie friends will only buy when it hits all-time highs and starts to go crazy high. And of course, they get wrecked. So I was just congratulating you for being smart and being disciplined and just sticking around. I appreciate all you guys. And that was the video. But towards the end, I talked about, it was a meme coin. And it's there's an old joke on the internet. It's pretty old. It's like from 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. It's called "Birds Aren't Real." And I talked about why I thought it was hilarious, and then we talked about this particular meme coin called Pigeon Tech. It's just funny to me, and I just thought it was interesting, and I just kind of just put it out there. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to throw some money into it because I'm done. At my heart, at my core, we're all degenerates a little bit. I'm not a complete degenerate. This is like a very small amount, but I'm like, hey, that's what life is for, right? If you are trying to lose weight, it's not like you're never going to eat a donut in your life. If you're, in doing investments, of course, the more stricter things you can do is probably treasuries and T-bills and maybe a junk savings account in your bank, which is actually a bad idea. But I mean, even if going back and just talking about as far as investment, sometimes you want to, just gamble a little bit. It's fun. And we were talking about this, and you can see that my vision isn't that great because I'm squinting just like I am now. And we talked about this Pigeon Tech. And it was like 0.001 or something like that. And actually, this was like right down here. I talked about it right here, 0.0. What is this? It's the same thing. Yeah, see how it kind of goes up, 1, 2, 3, and it comes down, and then a little level here. Yeah, so like, I guess 0.0015. Okay, so that was what was that right there. And I threw a little funds into it, and people are like, Rob, don't ever talk about that stuff again. That's boring. Hey, you know what's not boring? Making a boatload of money. So this is that price over here. And here's where it went up to like almost 0.008 from 0.0015 in 2 days. So again, this is not normal. This is craziness. This is the reality that we're in. And this is from a site called Dex Tools. I link in the description. You can find this stuff. This is what I'm going to use. And if you'd like to have like some type of tutorial on this website, because it does some pretty cool stuff, and like just let me know in the comment section. If not, we'll just talk mostly about Bitcoin all day. But I just thought it was just kind of interesting. And then also, speaking of meme coins, speaking of moving forward, I've already taken my profits out, because if you keep riding it up, I think you're going to get wrecked at some point. There is a method I talk about. It's called the half and half method. If you would have done this back in 2015, 2016, when Ethereum came out, and would have done half and half and half, you'd still be up millions of dollars, even as Ethereum went up. It has to prove themselves. So when you do these things, I want you to be safe and not be stupid. And I want you to make some profits and go along the way and not round trip everything. So there's a link in the description. I have 4 videos. The half and half is one of those. Watch that video. That's outside the scope of what we're talking about today. So going into meme coins, though, I talked about this on my iTRUST Roth IRA. And as you can see, first of all, in America, it's a retirement account. There's multiple ones. This is called a Roth IRA. It's tax exempt. you already get taxed to the nose. And then when you come in here, you don't get taxed for all the trades that you do. But you'll notice that it's heavily Bitcoin, between 55, almost 66, almost 60%. Then it goes Ethereum, then some layer 1, Solana, Ton, Sui, then precious metal, gold and silver. And then way down the list is Pepe, Bonk, Dogwood, Pat, and Doge, which seems ridiculous, right? Well, as you recall, maybe if you watch the video, I don't know if you have or not, but when you trade within your retirement account, that's tax exempt. I'm expecting Pepe, Bonk, Dogwood, Pat, and Doge, one of those four, is going to outperform all the rest of this stuff massively. And when it does, I will sell it. And within my Roth IRA account, I will sell it and I'll put it right into Bitcoin or maybe even stables. I'm not for sure. But just in the last, I don't know, week, 2 weeks since I did that video, Doge is already gone above silver. So it's at 3.85% of my weight of my portfolio. So yeah, I think meme coins are going to go crazy. Do they have utility? No. Dogecoin is like the OG of all meme coins. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to bring you guys along for the journey. I'm also going to bring in Sin City Crypto, and I'm going to have them trade against me and see which one does better. So let me know what you think about that idea in the comment section. But let's get into my screw ups, which is always good. So this is Altcoin Sherpa. If you don't follow him on X, give him a follow. Good guy. We're here in Puerto Rico. We're down by Ocean Park in San Juan. And I had coffee with him this morning, and we were just talking about some different things. And one of the things that's interesting about Dave is that he uses TA, but he does a lot of things with like meme coins, but also traditional, well, not traditional, but layer 1 type solutions, Bitcoin, that type of thing. But he also uses it with these meme coins I never really heard of, but he has his own strategy, and it was interesting. We were talking about this, and I said, well, why don't you just throw everything into memes? He's like, well, I could. He goes, but we're getting into real estate here in Puerto Rico, him and his girl. And I said, Dave, that's a great idea. I said, it's I like real estate. It works out pretty well. But I told him, I said, I made a massive monetary mistake. It was a safe mistake, but I made it. And I told him about when we bought a condo in 2020 here, and then we sold it, and the same amount of money would have been massive. And I said, this was in 2020 when there was nothing really going on with Bitcoin. Who would have thunk that it would have went up so high? He goes, thinking about that, he goes, that doesn't make a lot of sense. He goes, have you ever told your subscribers? And I was like, yeah, a long time ago. So he goes, you should tell them again. I said, yeah, it's not a bad idea. So I just want to show you this. And I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just telling you that this was my mistake. And again, if you want to follow Sherp, links in the description. I'm not a big TA guy, but he can help you kind of make sense of this stuff. And he's only on X, so check him out. But here was the thing. Here was the mistake. 2020 came out here to Puerto Rico. This was in, I want to say September, October, November, 2020, somewhere around there. And we bought a condo, and it was $250,000 cash because there was just so many things being bought up. Sure. Here's $250,000 cash. Here's the condo. Put it on short-term rental. And then we just sold it recently for $325,000. No, not bad. A couple of years, you make $125,000. Great, everybody's happy. But the mistake was that, let's just go this way. This is Ben's website, Into the Cryptoverse. There's a link in the description. This part is free. I'd like everybody to sign up, at least for the DCA part, and just run some numbers. So you come over here, you can do DCA equal amounts. We're going to do a lump sum. If I would have taken that $250,000, which seems crazy back then, $250,000, and let's say this is in 2020. Let's just, I don't care, November 1st, somewhere around there. Let's say it was November 1st, not in the beginning of 2020. That's not even fair. So if I would have done that, and again, remember, we made $125,000 on the sale of the condo. It's irrelevant because look how much I would have made over here. Today, I would have $1.4 million. 1.4 million. So I think about that. It stings a little bit, but again, you're never going to call it right. And I hate to even go back and do this because then people say, Rob, you're cherry picking the data and you should not do this and this is ridiculous. But I'm just saying, think about what was going on in 2020 and think about the narrative that was happening and think about the amount of politicians, presidents, nation states, Bitcoin ETFs that were happening. They weren't happening. Now, fast forward to today, to where those things are. And yes, I recently have sold some of my altcoins to purchase a complex. There was many factors into that, but yes, that did happen. So before anybody in the comments says, but you just sold like a month and a half ago or so. Yeah, it was altcoins. And I still stand by that one because the altcoins, they were good, but I don't think they're going to do that great. But with Bitcoin, if you take a look at it, you're like, gosh, all these things that are happening. So what if we just held on? Well, this is where we'd be at. So again, I don't know what your specific goals are, but look at the things that are going on around you. And let's just take Germany, for example. There's a great website, Germany's Bitcoin Regret Meter. And Germany had confiscated a fairly large amount of Bitcoin from unscrupulous individuals, and they sold this back in July. This was July of this year, just this year. So when you're watching this video, maybe in like a year or 2 years from now, you're like, that's crazy. Who would ever have done that? Now it's a strategic reserve, maybe. But they sold it, and the Bitcoin was $58,700 for Bitcoin, which is a pretty good price considering that, you know, just a couple years prior, it was $16,000, $17,000. So the loss for Germany, as of today, as the price is roughly 76,000, they almost lost out on $1 billion. But you have to understand, governments are not here to be the greatest financial stewards. They're just essentially here to collect a bunch of taxes, to confiscate your funds, to do what they want to do with it. And that probably just got wasted into something else because government is wasteful. But it is our job to not be wasteful and to take a look and to take the direction of what not to do in certain situations. I'm not a big fan of losing close to $1 billion, but it is what it is. And that's Germany's regrets, I would say. But then you have to take a look at and just say, well, where are we going? Well, there was a great interview. It was the VanEck CEO. And I'm not a big fan of predictions because I think they're ridiculous. But if we talk about market cap, I'm like, okay, I can get behind that. I want you to take a listen to this. It's about a minute or so. Make sure you can hear this correctly, perfectly. And listen to what he says here. Take a listen.
Yeah, and it's great to have you. And when you're probably asked as much as I am, if Bitcoin's going to 100,000 next, what would you say?
Kelly, happy Friday. I think Bitcoin's going to hit all-time highs. It hit them today, and I think it's going further, right? My basic premise is that ultimately Bitcoin's value will be half of that of all the gold outstanding. So you're talking about something like $300,000 for Bitcoin.
Why only half the value? Why not a quarter of the value or pick some other random number?
Well, because maybe I'm more balanced. I think if I were a Bitcoin maximalist, I would say it would overtake gold. But I think that's like a reasonable base assumption. It's clear, you know, one of the big winners this year is individual investors have really piled into the Bitcoin ETFs. And I think as individuals, as a constituency, they were important in this election. The loss by Sherrod Brown of his Ohio Senate seat, the fact that Trump went to the Bitcoin convention shows that there's a big constituency in the US, and hopefully it becomes a bipartisan issue as well, not so one-sided.
There are other...
Yeah, I can get behind that, that's for sure. So what he was talking about there, and was pretty much what I alluded to in the very beginning statements. So if he's talking about Sherrod Brown, who he's saying is the former senator and chair of the Senate Banking Committee from Ohio, and he got replaced. I'm not for sure if it was just crypto. I doubt it was just crypto, but he's gone. And he was one of the architects of Operation Choke Point 2.0, which essentially allowed or disallowed banks to do pretty much anything with us and drove the crypto and the digital asset market, not underground, that sounds ridiculous, but made it a little bit more difficult. With him being removed, I think it sends a clear message of what the American people, and I think the global population really wants, which is just leave us alone to do the things that we want to do, and we'll make the investments, and you guys do whatever the heck it is that you try to do as far as legislation. Then on top of that, what he says, and we've talked about this before, this is what that website, standwithcrypto.org. The elections recently, you can see, strongly supports crypto. I think this is like the third time I've shown this, because I just find this so fascinating that this is where we're at. When I made that error with the condo, when nothing was really going on, there was no representatives, there was definitely no presidents talking positively about it. Nothing was really happening. There were some things happening behind the scenes. I mean, you had the Michael Saylors of MicroStrategy, and then all of a sudden El Salvador came in from nowhere, and then all of a sudden the money printing went crazy. And obviously, yes, money printing still happens. But just to get that one roadblock away, which is the legislatures, the House of Representatives, and now senators, these are all strongly supports crypto. I don't know how much I need to say this. So I just look at this and I go, man, we're really moving in the right direction. So if I had to do things again, I probably wouldn't do that. But just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Anyhow, that's it for today. So if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Let me talk about it's time sensitive. Now, if you want to stick around, we'll do a little Q&A, answer all your questions to the best of my abilities, and we'll go from there. If you got to take off, take off. It's a beautiful Saturday here in Puerto Rico. I'll be going to the beach in a little bit.